So did you go to college or technical school?
No, the only thing I went to was I had courses through the DNR on management courses that I took or had to take or was suggested to take if I wanted to advance. And they were done like 6-week courses.
Okay. Before that, before you were employed by the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, you went and served the United States, right?
I was working at DNR when I got called to duty.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yes.
Because there was a draft at that point. Were you
Yes.
drafted? So you were drafted. And what year was that?
1963.
63. So that was the Korean conflict, the Korean War?
Korean War. The
Okay.
Vietnam War I was sent to Korea, spent about 13 months, 12 and a half months over there. And that was when Vietnam was also just coming into the peak. They started bombing in Vietnam, and they had been there before that, I think 60. Well, I don't know what year they were there, but they really picked it up in 63. And we had some hard times in Korea because we went on full alert, and that means be ready to protect your North Korea or South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 2, and that's when they started bombing in Vietnam over there. And I was there when President Kennedy got shot. And we really went on alert then.
Oh, I suppose.
We thought North Korea could be coming.
Well, that was right. He was shot on November 22nd.
And I just got there in August.
And your birthday was right just a few days.
November 30th.
Yeah, a few days after that.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me if you do some history, which you lived it, but World War II kind of paused a little bit, but there were pieces in place that happened, and then the Korean War started, and then it kind of just morphed into the Vietnam War, didn't it?
Yes.
And so were you kind of almost in the Korean War and Vietnam War? Even though you were just, did that kind of, I don't know when it actually officially started.
The Korean War was declared over. It really has never been declared over.
Oh, really? Okay. Huh.
Yeah. And so, but everything I think was 51 to 55. But it kept going. There were skirmishes, back and forth every once in a while, like there is all over.
Yeah.
But then they were sending troops to Korea in 63 for protection of North Korea advancing. And so we were over there. I was artillery. I was with the infantry, and I was with the artillery special forces, and I was with a surveyor. And we surveyed for the artillery that they could attack North Korea.
What does that mean? You surveyed like land so that you could make sure that they could shoot and maneuver there? Is that what it was?
Well, back
Here's
then
the
you see surveyors now, they look through the this and that, and it calculates whatever it is right away.
The distance and stuff
there.
like that.
This was so old-fashioned back, but it was probably all right at that time.
Sure.
We put tripods up and had the poles in.
Yeah.
We had tapes that we measured.
Oh.
And my favorite subject was math, and it must have showed on the tests I took and so forth. So I became the computer.
Wow.
And we had to take those coordinates and compute it on paper and then observe the shooting up above our coordinates. And so we'd wire back, and they'd shoot 2 miles back of us at that coordinates. And if we were wrong, we could get...
I was going to say, you better be right.
They could shoot ourselves.
Yeah.
Talk about a job assessment. You know, I mean, there aren't too many like that where you say, well, if I don't do my job right, something bad could happen. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So friendly fire could have been a problem, right?
oh,
Big time.
yes, it very well could be.
Yeah.
And we fired right in. We were surveying right in the DMZ. It's a pretty wide stretch. I can't remember how many miles the DMZ is, but
So how long were you in? 4 years or 3 or what was?
I was in 2 years and
2 years.
then 4 years inactive reserve,
Okay.
which means I could have got called back anytime.
And
you
you
have-
wanted to keep going.
Huh?
You wanted to stay in, right?
Oh, I just stayed in. I liked it. I did like it. I didn't like Korea, but I got just to it. I accepted that, and
Well, he got
Not-
married and then left for Korea like 2 days later.
6 days I was
6
married.
days later.
It's
It's a different breed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
a different
I
breed
can
of people.
imagine.
I'm sorry. It's just a different breed.
But
of
in
people.
'63, we got engaged on Valentine's Day.
Huh.
Sort of set a wedding for, I was working for DNR at the time,
Okay.
set a wedding for May. And I got called up in March to report. And so we canceled the May wedding.
Mm.
And I went through basic and Fort Sill for my second training. And I got my orders. I knew where we were going. I was going to Korea on such and such a date. I was leaving. And my wife wanted, she says, let's get married. I says, no, I don't want to. I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I says, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I'm going there. And, you know, it's a dangerous situation. She wouldn't take no for her answer. So her and her sister, unbeknown to me, wrote to our congressman, which was Kastemeyer. I don't know if you ever
Oh, yeah,
remember the
Bob
name.
Kastemeyer,
Bob
yeah.
Kastemeyer.
Mm-hmm.
And told him the situation. Well,
I can't
I
imagine
didn't know
he really
this
cared.
happened.
Like,
And all of a sudden, I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And they came down to camp in a Jeep and said, Royston, the big guy wants to see you. I thought, oh, what the hell? Somebody dies, what
Yeah,
do I got to
right.
do?
Right.
So I went up into the manager's office or the colonel's office there and saluted and walked in and shaking. I can
Yeah.
remember, I can still shake.
Yeah.
I'm going to see why would I never seen him before in my life.
Yeah. Right.
And so he questioned me and he says, you know, I got a letter here that you want to get married. So I says, well, I don't know if I did or not. But he says, he asked some pretty personal questions. And I said, he says, well, I'll give you 2 weeks
Wow.
and you can go home.
Wow.
So I went home and Sharon had come down to see me go by. And she says, what are we going to do? And I says, well, I'm going home to get married. How about you? She says, what? So she came home. I went home a week later and we had 1 week and everything fell into place. Everything that we had reserved before happened to be emptied. She already had the dresses made and stuff
Yeah,
and
right.
had her. And so we got married and I had 6 days off before I shipped out.
Wow.
Gone 13 months. And I always said, well, we had a good first year, woman. We never had an argument. I never had nothing.
Yeah. That's probably a record.
Yeah.
Dick.
Never seen each other, but it was.
So what year did you get out then?
Well, I officially got out in 65 then.
65. Okay.
Yeah. It was about 25 months I was in total. And then I got home and went back to work to DNR and started my career there.
What did you do? What did you do at the DNR? I mean, did you do like multiple things as you worked your way up, or were you always kind of the same
DNR
spot?
was kind of funny not funny, but it's still the same. But I started out, DNR sort of had the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. And you'd put up orders, like you'd want to be a vacation in Wisconsin, so you'd send letters to us and send them, I want to go to the Hayward area. And so I had all these pamphlets on every city or maps of Wisconsin and so forth. So I was the State Chamber of Commerce, I guess.
Really?
Through the DNR.
Huh.
And then I took all these other courses and went into management. And,
Okay.
I managed more of all the outdoor activities, like issuing. I was the head of the boat, snowmobile, and ATV registration department.
No. Wow.
I was the head of the special permit, and that's the bear hunt, the hunter's choice permit, Horicon goose permit, those permits. And I just kept managing them and spent over 40 years with them, just over 40.
What year did you retire?
Retired in, geez, I wrote it down too, I can't remember.
Well, take your time. It's fine.
2000, right?
When did I retire?
I think it was 2000, 99, 2001.
Was played for over 40 years, retired in 98. July of 98.
So you've been retired for about 24 years, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, almost a quarter century of retirement.
Yeah, 24 years, been retired.
When
Yeah.
did you? Well, let me ask you this question. Maybe I shouldn't say this. What do you call him? Did you call him
Papa?
something? Oh, okay. I
that
thought.
what you mean?
What was? Didn't you have a nickname
Chitty?
for him? No, the warden, or are you
Oh,
the warden?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he doesn't know we call him that, though.
Oh no, you've been there first.
yeah, the other. But yeah, that's
Sorry, family secret.
my job.
Because you were assigned to the warden service.
I was.
That's our excuse.
Every time, because everything I worked with wardens.
Okay.
And so I was, I want to say, not a warden, but I was a warden in
You
the
were
sense,
the head of
but I
wardens,
was not a warden that I could arrest somebody, but I had to go with them out in the field and do this and check boats and stuff like that. I had no credentials and I could not carry a gun. So
Too bad.
it was a career that I honestly think I've probably only 5 days that I didn't ever want to go to work.
Really?
Yeah,
You really enjoyed it, huh?
I really enjoyed it.
Where did you go? Did you go to a certain spot? Did you go to Madison, or where was your headquarters?
The headquarters was in Madison.
Okay.
Well, I have throughout, always in Madison, though, but I was about 10 different locations throughout the city.
Okay.
Well, you retired out of the Pioneer Squared, right?
Yeah.
Remember that building?
That's
Across from
all
Super
gone.
Target?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Madison.
So I was all over, but
Okay.
and we traveled the state with the wardens and
What years were you the mayor of Mazo for how many years?
12.
12 years. From what, was it consecutive?
Yes.
What years were those? Do you remember?
Yeah. 69 to 81.
So that was after you got back, obviously, and while you were a DNR employee.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And was Mazo, was Mazo very different? Like not at your age, but like if you were that age, would it be very different being the mayor? I know they don't have a mayor now of Mazo, but what were the types of things that you did as the mayor of Mazo?
Oh, the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. We had all the same problems and we had a board. We have a board just like they do now. It's you managed everything, like the board did. And when I first started it, Mazo has been up and down as far as looks and everything. And I was pretty proud to say during the 12 years there that we made great steps. And then it sort of deteriorated again. And now it's starting to improve.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really think it is what started the thing out that Mesa was changed to the better is that this Mr. Westland that donated all the money for the downtown promenade area and really cleaned Mesa up. And that was a start where people began to, and that was back in 207, 27.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's still doing it today. And there's programs like that I wasn't present, but I'm really proud to be part of it because I took over at his request
Okay.
to
Of the promenade.
take care of the promenade from 207 all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I see you down there a lot, and we took some pictures of the Halloween, the fall thing that you guys do, and then the Christmas thing, and of course in the summer you have beautiful plants down there and shrubbery, and you guys do a nice job. I was going to ask you not to get too far off of the Meso thing, but
Sorry.
that's okay. I took some pictures yesterday of downtown Meso, and I remember. See, you were the mayor of Meso from 69 till when again?
81.
81.
Right.
Well, I was 9 years old to 21 years old. And a lot of those years were bustling. You know, we had a lot of activity down in Meso when I was a kid. You too, probably, right? I mean, when you were a kid. So do you remember, you can see these pretty good?
Yep.
Do you remember, like, when you were a kid or in high school, I just wanted to go through these different pictures, and if you can remember, and if you don't, that's fine, but do you remember, like, what was in this building? Right now, it's kind of a pet grooming place. What was in that?
I think
Do you remember?
that was Zangel's Jewelry and Clock Shop.
Zangel's Jewelry and Clock.
Do you remember that? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And then what was this one right here?
Johnson Appliance Store.
Wow.
And were those there for quite some time? I mean, were they kind of establishments? Because sometimes
Well,
we've had businesses kind of come and go over the
Seems like
last
there's
few
a
years.
big turnover
Yeah.
down there.
Back
Unfortunately.
when I was in, and I'm going back to when I was in high school,
Yeah.
I worked for a grocery store downtown for all through high school when I wasn't involved in sports and weekends. And after I graduated that summer before I went to DNR, and that was in 1957 when I graduated.
Okay.
So those stores that we're saying were there in 57. That's as far back as,
Okay.
and some I probably won't remember.
Yeah. And so was this whole building that? Or
Yeah.
like, see, this is Harrop Realty and Walker
Surveying.
Land Surveying. Tony Walker
That
is in
was a
there.
barber shop.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember when I was a kid, this was a barber shop. There was a chair in there. And, of course, Les Mahaney had another barber shop, which is another building we'll look at. But
That wasn't at the same time.
oh, it wasn't.
Is that-
Was he first?
He was the oldest. There's
Okay.
another barber shop on the other side.
Okay.
That's the gray building.
Okay. We'll get to that.
Okay.
This was a laundromat.
Laundromat.
When I was a kid and in high school. Was
Yeah.
that also when you were younger
Yeah.
too?
Yep.
And then this was the Red Door Supper Club and Bar. Was
Red.
what was that when you were younger?
That was an IGA store. Carrie's IGA.
I'd never heard that.
What's IGA?
We really had 5 grocery stores downtown.
Oh, it's a grocery store.
Well, there's still IGA stores. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
IGA. Show us another picture. I want to get through all of these. So this was Les Mahaney.
You're right.
You know where we're at right now?
Yeah.
This is Mix It Up, and we're looking at a cross here or whatever. Maybe you
That
don't
was
know
Joe
where
the
that is.
Barber for me, wasn't it?
Joe the Barber was there too after
Yeah.
Les Mahaney.
Joe
Was
the
there
Bar-
anything there before? Like when you were in high school, was that a barber shop?
I can't remember. I think it was a meat market.
Okay. Well, I think you might be right because there's when Mr. Visti, who owns the
The mill. Yeah.
when he was in his other store, the Whistle Stop, and I was having breakfast there, and he came in and they were fixing this building here, and on the side they were going to redo it, and I said, well, that old thing that they've taken down there is the name of the store, and I can't remember what it is now, but that's still there. They left it there.
They exposed it when they pulled.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I
Yep.
was gonna say there's writing on.
So you think that was maybe a meat market, and then what was? Do you remember what?
Well, that was. There was so many, and I get mixed up when I think, but
Yeah.
that used to be Ida Vogel's house,
Oh,
and it
really?
went out the back too.
Okay.
A backpack that, but Ida Vogel was there. But then the Legion was in there with their bar, the Legion bar.
Oh,
They
before
were
they
there,
built the
and
other.
Romy Ryder had a shoe store
Well,
there.
yeah, I used to go there to Romy Ryder's shoe store.
So I don't know. I get mixed up.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it was
So that was
and
at
when
least
it was.
in the 60s when Romy Ryder was there. This was Draggers, wasn't it? Was
Yes.
that when you were a kid too, or high school?
Well, yeah, Stouts,
Oh, Stouts.
and then I think it was Drager's.
But it was a diner
It
kind
was
of.
diner.
Okay.
Yes, restaurant.
Yep. And then the end was, I don't even remember.
That was Endry's painting.
Oh, it was Phil.
Yeah, Phil
Endress. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go to the other one. We got a few more here in a few minutes
There's
left.
the bank.
This was the bank, of course.
Yeah, that used to be the post office.
Before it was the bank.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How about
Yes,
that?
the post office.
Huh. And then this was the community building where we
Right.
talked about watching movies. You
Right.
did that. I did that. That's
That was the library.
yes, right. Yep.
Really?
Yep. It was a tiny
Yes.
library. Yep.
And
And that was Coltis. Was that Coltis Kennedy when
yeah,
you were
Colas
younger?
Kennedy back then. I don't know what it was before that though.
And Breinig, Dan Breinig, who built the new hardware store, he was there for a little bit,
I
and
remember
then
that
they
hardware store.
Yes.
they sold that and went up on the highway
Right.
there.
Mhm.
Okay,
it just seems like a hardware store would fit right there. You know what I mean? Just in an older building.
I do remember just being like unbelievably cramped.
Yeah.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Okay, and then let's go here. This was a drugstore when I was a kid. What was that? Rexall. That's
that
right.
used to be Traeger's Grocery
Oh,
and
that
the
was.
Greyhound Depot stop.
Oh, okay.
Greyhound come to Mesa every day.
Really?
Gretchen Traeger got it to
Gretchen
come
Traeger.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was it George Traeger, the dad, John's dad? Was that his name?
I guess I
But
sounds familiar, but
was this before they built the one that burnt down on Hudson Street, or did
Oh,
he
yeah,
have two?
yeah. No, that's before.
That's before. Okay, and then
That was the other barber shop.
it was.
Harry Fay barber shop.
Were there two barbers in Mazo at the same time?
Yes, that one, and then the
Wow.
one across was Zadazil.
See, that's the thing that people don't understand. Like when I'll tell them about how it was bustling down there when I was a kid. I mean, the place was full. There were two barbers in there in town. There was enough heads around town that they had two places for two barbers.
I don't like to tell them my old barbers, but Zadazil was the other one, and I went to him first when I was young. But I came from the farm, and he was a teaser,
Okay.
and he just teased me once too often because he'd get me in the chair and he says, "What's that I smell?" And he'd be looking down. And he says, "It's on your boots."
Oh no.
You know. So I knew what he was.
Yeah,
The whole farm.
yeah.
I quit him, and I went to Harry Fay. He cut my hair.
You got your business. What was this?
That was a hardware store too. I remember it was Sparky's hardware store, but I'm trying to think if I'm mixed up of what it could have been. But I know Burkhart owned it. Sparky Burkhart, they called him.
And right next door, this is the Penguin Bistro or whatever it is now.
I think that was Harrington's grocery store.
Harrington, I've heard of that. It wasn't there
Yes.
when I was a kid. And then go to the next one. This was the V store when I was a kid. What was it? It was a. I thought I had heard that they had a meat market in there, or a
wait.
grocery store, and then a department store.
That big, the two windows, that was Schwartz's mercantile store.
This one,
Right. And
Yep.
there was a grocery, you had to go through that
yes.
to a grocery, and that was Kennedy's grocery store in the back.
Okay.
And they had lockers, locker plants, freezers. You stored your meat because we had ice boxes.
Yeah.
You just had ice. It
Yeah.
wouldn't keep things froze.
Yeah.
So you had Kennedy's grocery locker plant behind.
That's
A
You couldn't
department
even
store.
see the store. Either
Yeah.
one. You had to
Yeah.
go through the
Yeah, I had heard that too
That
from
store.
some old timers.
Is there 2 there then?
And then I don't know if
3?
these.
Well, one of them, that was a drugstore.
This was a
right
drugstore.
there.
Okay.
And then the next two
close to the
was
corner.
the grocery store that was owned by a lot of people. And that's Kennedy moved back there less,
This
but
one?
before that,
Mm-hmm.
my dad and grandmother ran that store.
Really?
And we had a soda fountain in there. It was a Thai soda fountain. And I don't know, short as was, but I was a soda jerk, making sodas and sundaes and stuff. And I remember I'd stand there and I couldn't reach down in to get the ice cream out to scoop it up. So my dad made me a stool. So I had to stand on that stool. And Dick made the sundaes and the cherry fizzes and things like that out of that soda.
How old were you?
I must have been 10 or 12 back there. But there's a lot of people that own that after.
I've never heard
The
that.
last one was, the
might not even be
Onsteds
a real
own it,
name.
and that was always
made
a
up.
tavern as far as I
Yeah,
remember.
I mean,
The workout.
yeah, I think the UNI or something.
It was
then-
always a bar as far as I can remember.
Now, I don't have a picture of it, but as you go, you turn right at the flagpole and you head down toward the old Lutheran church there on the corner, St.
Yep.
John's. On the left, there's a pink building that used to be a gas station.
Yes, way down, right on the corner.
Yep, of Y and
Yes.
Oh,
Hudson.
Lawler owns it.
Lawler owns it. Yeah, was that a gas station?
Yes.
Who owned that and what?
I don't know who owned, but Peterson's owned it at one time. But I
Okay.
don't know if they were the owners, but
Yeah.
it was a gas station out there.
Because you could, when I was a kid, you could come down through there, no stops, and you could take a right because that used to be KP or the highway.
Highway, why?
Yeah, and you could take a right there by Walter Apartments now, and then there was another gas station in that little brick building by John
Texaco.
Parman's. That was a Texaco.
Texaco
Yeah,
station.
were both of those open when you were a kid?
Yes.
So you had 2 gas stations plus Bollig's
Bollig.
and
Maybe the Pollards up there.
which is Handlebar
Performance.
Performance now. So you had 4 gas stations, 2 barbers,
That's rubbish.
multiple bars. You had Club 14. and
Right?
What was it? Was it 78? Where Rookies is? What was that? Club 78 or
The governor or something, right?
it was Governors later?
yes.
Yeah,
Come.
yeah. So what I mean, what you were saying, Dick, about how Mazo was a bustling community, and then it kind of went down, and there wasn't much going on in downtown Mazo, but it seems like it's picking up just a bit
Well,
now.
it is now. Yeah, and we back then too. We had the Mazo Poultry Company. Was down across from that Texaco station, like where the apartments were, and they employed a lot of people.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, and so
That's the
all
one
the
that burned
grocery
down.
stores would come up, and they'd come up, and then we had back in the old days free movies right there in front of Stoller's Bar, or across from the post office. You brought your blanket on
Yeah.
Wednesday nights or
Yeah.
Saturday nights, and every store was open and had specials and drew people down.
Yeah.
Now that it's all that is gone, and most of the grocery stores, well, all the grocery stores are gone. We're fortunate we got a dollar store up there
Yeah,
anyhow,
exactly.
which carries quite a bit of stuff.
Mhm.
But it went downtown, and everything now is built on a highway,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough.
To bring it down there.
To get-
yeah.
How are you going to get people go by
Yeah.
and think the hill is Mazomania?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 And I've
Yeah.
heard from other people, even we got some beautiful industries in Mazo, some of the cleanest, employ a lot of people, and they don't even know where Mazomania is other
Yeah.
than up on the hill
Yeah.
because they don't go
It's
downtown
a whole
Mazo.
other side of it
Yeah.
that they don't see.
And I think with the promotions that we got going now and things, and a few new businesses started, it's coming back gradually. And the summer entertainment we have on the Flankoid right stage in the Westland Promenade,
Yeah.
Jeff Worth's done a good job of getting the music in there, and
Yeah.
and everything. And it's getting so many strangers to know where Mazo is.
Trying to get people to come down to the downtown actually of Mazo is kind of a trick, but
It's a trick.
they're doing better by having, summer entertainment, the Gandhi dancers,
Right.
music and stuff at the Frank Lloyd Wright, the Promenade, some different things. 1855 Coffee House has opened up now, and maybe they'll get a few more.
Yeah, that
businesses
place.
down there.
That place always seems to be busy.
Yeah.
to me.
1855?
Yeah, I think she does a great job.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of a cool area too, having it be the old bank and stuff like that.
It is really
they've got a
cool,
nice
yeah.
setup there. It's pretty open.
when it was newer, I used to take Wesley in there because it would be this like me and him and one other person.
Yeah.
So it was fine. But now there's like 30 other people in the mornings. He's just tearing everything apart.
Now
you know,
it's too
just-
busy.
Yeah, no, I can't.
What are they
even go.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, get rid of some business. So Jameson will come
Yeah,
back.
I know. You guys leave?
Yeah.
Have you been in there?
Where?
1855, the coffee house.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. I've been and then over to the other that's been there a while.
Apothecary.
The tap house.
Yeah, I haven't been to that one yet.
Tap house I've only
Oh,
been
that-
in, not to
Oh,
serve it, but it's nice. I remember over where the dog shop is now, we had a wine shop there
Yes.
some moment.
Yeah.
And that was great for couples that
Yeah.
didn't want the real loud music
Yeah,
or
the
you
bar
know,
scene.
The
Yeah.
bar scene
Yeah.
at that time.
Mhm.
Could go have a drink, whether it was a drink or a soda or whatever,
Yeah, right.
and just converse and have maybe an hors d'oeuvre or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was fine. And this is sort of pattern after that, but it's a little colder. It's self-service.
Ah,
You
yeah.
got to do it by the ounce on your
Yeah.
credit card.
Yeah. Okay.
And the machine serves you. But it's nice, and I think it'll catch on. They ain't got everything done yet in there, but
Yeah.
I don't even have the sign up yet, so I don't even know.
But-
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think there's
it's-
anything.
They've got a. If it would be nice if they had a sign, because
and they're
I'm sure they're
supposed
working
to put,
on it.
a sign outside with an old-fashioned historical
Yeah.
light
Yeah,
post or
Yeah.
something.
but,
And
yeah.
yeah, it'll be more homey when they get
I
that
think-
done. But I haven't heard a bad comment about it yet because at least we can sit and talk and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have
But
to
they
yell
do have
over.
music every Friday,
Mhm.
just a 1 or 2 piece little
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
And
They do trivia on Thursday nights, I think. And
Mhm.
yeah,
So they're trying to get people down there, which is nice.
yeah.
to get
And I
people-
think, and of course the bread and breakfast, there are other business there. And
And that seems to be picking up speed too, because there's guys in Madison that I work with that come
really,
Nice.
that's good to hear.
to the
and
or what's it called?
It's
Iron
the
Amethyst.
iron. Yeah.
the bistro, Jeff Worth's place,
Yep.
that's only open about 3 times, and most of his clientele come from Sauk City.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that spreads the word a little bit that
Yeah.
way that
Yeah.
they got other places now that
Mhm.
you can go and.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope that some of the businesses will do well, and there'll be more that are added. But we're going to let you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We've wanted to have you on for months. We did some conniving behind the scenes and had your grandson here so we could get to you. But
Yeah, thanks
thank
for
you
the
for
history lesson.
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to, is hearing more about what things were like and looking at the buildings and stuff and hearing about your life. So thank you.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest thing of the whole podcast is we let you go to our prize table and pick out a prize or two. You can take something too,
All
because
right.
this was all you're doing. So thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.